Maybe not.
Says the stream is.
Hey, it's Andrew Downs. I'm proud to support Three Beards Media, and I would love to work with you. If you need merchandise for your company, organization, band, softball team, whatever, I can help. From name brand apparel to promotional items, large orders or small, online stores, and more, I can help your brand stand out. AKC Marketing is local, based in Johnston, and we are an employee-owned business, so our costs are low and our turnaround times are fast. But most importantly, we give you personal service to make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. Email me at andrew@akcmarketing.com or find me on social media, and let's make some cool stuff together. Now sit back and enjoy this Three Beards Media podcast.
Hey everyone, good to see you again, even you too, Jim.
Well, we just don't ever wait, do we?
No. Hey, we're coming live from the Andrew Downs AKC Marketing Studio, sponsored by Revelton Distilling Company and Green Beret Realty. Good to be back on, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be another fun one, like kind of like the last one we had. So glad to be back.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What are you guys drinking tonight?
I've got a little bit Diet Mountain Dew and some Revelton honey whiskey, of course.
Where'd you guys get the cool cups?
This one is really just not really that cool. It's Casey's, but it's my favorite cup.
Have you ever been to Shields or Dick's or pretty much anywhere in the real world, Sam, where you can get
where it has
Yeti
this
cup?
Yeah, it's YETI. You ever heard of those?
Yeti.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of
Sasquatch?
Have you ever heard of the brand Arctic?
Yes, I have a couple coolers. There's
RTIC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Missy got me this Arctic cup one time, and I couldn't find it. And I was like, "Hey, do you know where my cup is?" She's like, "What cup?" I'm like, "That RTIC cup you got me." I didn't know it was Arctic. Yeah, I learned something that day.
Yeah, we love you, man.
That's your winter set education shining through right there.
Thank you.
Oh.
Well, if you guys are going to ask me what I'm drinking.
Oh, Sam, what are you drinking?
Sam, what do you have tonight?
I'm
Legend.
drinking a brand new beer. Well, year 2, called Legend. So First Down Brewing collaborated this year with Back Pocket Brewing out of Coralville, which is the officially licensed craft brewery of the Iowa State Cyclones, to bring back Legend to market. And the whole point of Legend is to honor Jack Trice and Jack Trice's story, with a portion of the proceeds going back to the Trice Legacy Foundation. And if you don't know the story of Jack Trice, I strongly urge you to Google it, do some research. It's a very moving story, and we're just trying to gain awareness through not only the beer, but the Trice Legacy Foundation. So
very cool.
That's what I'm drinking tonight.
So you had to go with Back Pocket Brewing because last year you were with Peachtree, is that right?
Yeah, last year was with Peachtree.
And they've no longer in business, correct?
Yep, correct. Yep.
Oh, got a nice, cool, different can and everything on that.
Yeah, so it's a different can, also a new recipe. So super light drinking, 4.8% ABV. So I would say it's crushable.
So you said it is a
everybody
new
grab
recipe.
some. It's a new recipe. Yeah, it's a wheat ale, so it's light and crisp. It's available at retailers throughout the state of Iowa. So head to your favorite local retailer. If they don't have it, ask them to get it. Or you can find it, of course, at the tap room at First Down Brewing and Back Pocket.
Cool. Very neat.
Chris Shipley says he's excited for your new beer, Sam. So that's good stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Chris. Big supporter. I'll take care of you, Chris.
So, Sam, you kind of we kind of are a podcast because of your relationship with Trice, really. Isn't that kind of how this started? Is that true?
That's how Ship and I met. Was we came out with Legend last year, and George Trice, who is a cousin of Jack Trice, he had a podcast and asked if I would come on and talk about the beer and everything. So I did last year, and then I met Ship, and we had always talked about a podcast, the three of us, and pitched the idea to Ship, and there we go.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny, who God puts in your path to keep you going. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I want to take a second. I think we all do here, and give a heartfelt thank you to Three Beards Media and Chris Shipley, for allowing our podcast to be possible. Mm-hmm. We're probably getting close to a year having done this now, which is pretty cool. But we really also want to thank our listeners for following us and making this pretty successful podcast. I mean, I think it's exceeded our expectations.
Oh, definitely agree.
Yeah.
By far. And we kind of talked about this in the past, but we were nominated for an award at the 2024 Iowa Podcast Awards, and it was Best Sports Podcast, and that went down. Chris went and was there. We weren't able to make it, unfortunately, but we didn't win Best Sports Podcast, which we were pretty stiff competition. Washed Up Walk-Ons won that, and rightfully so. They do a great job. But what we did find out is that we finished 4th in the People's Choice Award. So there was like over 4,300 votes for podcasts, and we finished 4th in the People's Choice. So honestly, honored and humbled, that many people are thinking of us, and just appreciative of everybody out there, and hopefully we can continue to make this good and exciting for people to watch, so.
Yeah. And if you voted, thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Ship's watching tonight, so we appreciate you, Ship. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, yes.
So anyway, that's gives us goals for the next year too. We want to get better and better, and hopefully, a year from now, maybe we can say we have some hardware or something. So
yeah,
that'd be cool.
Guys, in a year, that's pretty impressive. I don't want to hurt my shoulder patting us on the back, but in a year, that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, we started this. We wanted to have a little fun, get a little information out there. I had no idea there was an Iowa Podcast Awards. So just happy to be where we're at. And, the People's Choice Award, I thought that was very cool to finish 4th out of over 100 podcasts in Iowa. So
yeah. And we're even giving them the PG version.
Yeah. Well, we had one that was a little bit over PG when Ship was on with us.
Yeah. Well, hey, wait till you come on the road with us, right, Ship?
That's right.
We'll go camping.
Oh my goodness.
Don't share our favorite spots out there.
That's going to have to be a story for the end of a podcast after everybody's been drinking sometime.
Yeah, we're gonna have to visit, kind of by there and take a few pictures though, so everybody sees where it's at.
You get out and take a picture. I ain't doing it.
Well, Sam will. He's done it once. I mean, been out there.
I'm nervous now.
Oh, goodness. That's good. I love it.
Well, hey, last episode was great.
Yes, best podcast I think we had. Best episode.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry about that, Pelzer, but Kristen Meyer was like, she knocked it out of the ballpark.
I'm mad at Pelzer right now. He called me out on Facebook for not tying my own tie.
You did. I saw it. I actually liked that one and laughed at it. So
I saw you laughed at it. I'm not real happy with you either. I don't know how to tie a tie. I can. Casey taught me at the state tournament last year, but I wanted it to look good, so I had my mom do it.
Oh, hey. It looked good. Definitely.
Shout out to Nancy for helping you out.
Thanks, Mom.
She's good people. So Kristen Meyer was fantastic, though, right?
Yeah.
We kind of wandered all over, and that was a long episode, but I think totally worth it. I got a ton of good feedback about it, too. And honestly, I wish we'd had that before kind of the awards, because I think it was certainly a boost, I think, to everything. But we kind of went from college to, her first championship at Nevada to Dowling, and her teaching, a coaching and officiating class. And some of the ideas she had, for, getting officials in the game, and not just basketball, she's a basketball coach, obviously, but I think she was hitting on baseball, softball, basketball, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of her ideas was like a job fair kind of. So
yes.
I've kind of started down that road of tipping off some people at the state and the girls' side, and hopefully maybe in the next month or two here, I can have some more discussions about, going further with those type of things, and maybe even working with her on making those things happen. But lots of cool ideas, and she was fantastic.
Yeah. She knows, just like officials know, that we have to get more people into this profession. She sees it all the time, and she knows that we're at a shortage. And what a way when she talks about having a job fair for high school kids, where she talked about, every school sending 2 to 3, kids to it. And, if we just would get another 100 out of that each year, we would be back up into, which would be nice we maybe have some young kids that maybe are advancing into the varsity level before they're ready for it, because they have to. Because we have to have them if we're going to play games on Tuesdays and Friday nights. So it'd be perfect to get them more in at the lower level, and then advance up to when they're ready for this. Instead of, I think we're putting some of them in when they're not ready, and then they're like, man, I don't want to do this. I don't want to listen to coaches. I don't want to listen to fans. So they're sort of leaving before they're really ready for what they need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the worst thing, is going and doing it before you're prepared. And there's probably nothing that can prepare you 100%, but just going in cold turkey, man, it's tough. It's a tough occupation, and, crowds, coaches, just all of it. It's just a lot, so kudos to those that are doing it. But yeah, there's got to be better ways, for sure.
Yeah. Cause
I was one of the lucky ones. I started at the junior high level, then somehow saw potential in me, and yeah, shut up, Jim.
You were the shiniest turd out there, Sam.
I'm still waiting for it. The potential part.
Yeah, thanks, Jim.
Sorry, Sam.
But in all seriousness, I had Ben to literally take me under his wing and teach me, when I got to those varsity contests, how to talk to coaches, how to handle different situations. If you don't have that person to kind of, guide you into the varsity contests, it's tough. It would be tough. I can't say it is tough because I never had to do it, but it would be tough.
Oh yeah, it is. You got to do that for a while to start to build up some thicker skin and some broader shoulders, and let things kind of fall off. But you get into that first varsity contest and you haven't done a whole lot of lower level or anything, and you start getting in and hearing some of what's what coaches can say and what fans can say, and it's just like, maybe this is not worth the pay that I'm getting. So we gotta do a better job of teaching kids and leading them into that of how to handle situations, and hopefully maybe with some new things that we that Kristen talked about, maybe we can get into that part of it and get kids to enjoy doing what we enjoy doing.
Yeah, and with that being said, if you're thinking about it, if you want to get in it, you don't know how to get into the varsity realm, contact us.
Yep.
We could be those people for younger people trying to get into the varsity level.
Yeah, we would. Yeah, contact us, and we would love to. If somebody wants to ride along sometime, go with us to the game, see what we do pregame. See how things go, and just talk about some situations. We would enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, then I wouldn't have to talk to Jim so much.
So on top of all that, we had a good time talking about Caitlin Clark, obviously too, who's a huge part of basketball from this state and kind of in the world right now. So that was a lot of fun. So we appreciate Kristen coming on. Thank you again.
Mm-hmm.
So because we're kind of in the off season yet, we're getting close. We're getting closer.
Yeah.
I mean, we're, I think, 6 weeks out from our first scrimmage, maybe. Does that sound right?
Sounds pretty close. Yeah.
Wow.
And I've added a couple things that you guys don't know about yet, but we'll get to that.
You have to let Missy know that.
I know. But we're going to keep focusing on guests. So we've got another great one tonight. He is a current basketball official and has kind of a unique career also. And so we kind of wanted to just kind of have a chat with him about how he balances that. And I think it's going to be another great guest and another, person I think a lot of people are very familiar with probably, and maybe don't know that he's a basketball official. So happy to introduce Travis Graven. He's a producer, director, and an on-air talent at Iowa PBS. So here he is. Let's get him up here. Travis, how are you?
There I am on air.
Hey, Travis.
You're not used to this, are you, at all?
This is a little different format, but yeah. And
Look,
just
Probably a little
listening to you
more
talk
high
about-
tech.
Yeah.
It can't be
If you
too
need any-
high-tech. Jim's doing it.
All day yesterday in the studio. I don't quite have the same setup here in my kitchen / living room, 650 square foot apartment. So
That's okay. It works. So if you need any help with the technology, just maybe I'd probably ask Sam if I were you. But
Are you serious?
I've heard Jim's the expert. So
Thanks, Travis. I appreciate that. I mean,
Jim's
at
still
least
chiseled in stone.
At least our internet here at good old Melcher, Dallas works better than yours over there at Winterset.
You were literally just buffered when you said that.
And so did he just now, right?
yeah, he did. It's going to be that night, apparently. So.
Awesome.
Travis, good to see you, man.
good to see you as well. I'm a little bit concerned about that hat you're wearing, but
Hey, 4-0. 4-0.
that is true.
Yeah,
It's-
that is. I can't say anything about that.
I am
Congrats.
as a Hawkeye fan, I will cheer for Iowa State to have success as long as they're not playing Iowa. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So,
And-
Travis, you and I started, or we ref together. Gosh, I'm not even sure the years that we kind of worked about 7-8 games together, but it's got to be 7-8 years ago. I'm assuming somewhere around there.
And it probably hasn't been quite that long.
Not quite that long.
Maybe 5 or 6.
Okay.
Because Travis isn't as old as you, Jim.
I haven't even been doing it that long, but I still can't keep track of years.
But you know, I can remember that season that I was still kind of, I hadn't met Ben yet. Well, I knew him, but hadn't got into working with his crew and that. And I was working with lots of different people. But that year I worked about 7 or 8 games at least with you and Steve, and really enjoyed it, and thought that you really had great potential. As you know, we talked about Sam still having some potential, but having great potential and being a very good official. I mean, I was impressed early on your demeanor, your mechanics. It was good to see. So with that, you know, tell us a little bit about your background and, you know, what brought you into officiating basketball.
Boy, that's an open-ended question.
We got time.
In terms of officiating, for some reason, I don't know what it was at a young age that intrigued me about it, but I've always watched officials. I've always been interested in officiating. When I was a young kid and I went to basketball games, softball games, I had an uncle who coached in our small school district back home and was the athletic director. So he was heavily involved in things. So my mom was supporting her brother and dragging me along. And so I went to a lot of sporting events from a very young age and always watched the officials and knew that was something that I kind of would love to do at some point if I had the opportunity. So actually, it was when I was in college that I first did some basketball games for a rec league. Not a great experience, but even though the basketball was not great and the dealing with some of the people was not super fun, I did enjoy being involved in the game and learning. I mean, those first few times that you step out on the court, you learn a lot. It's kind of drinking from a fire hose because it seems easy until you step out there and you know, it's all in your hands whether or not you blow the whistle and you know, make something happen or not happen. So it was kind of good and bad. It was a good learning experience. I knew that I didn't want to do rec league basketball after that. But I majored in broadcast journalism. And so when I got out of college and I started working in the news business, that is not very conducive to officiating. So, well, actually, I should back up. Basketball was my first taste of officiating, but then I did start after my freshman year of college umpiring baseball and softball. And so I did that in the summers when I was in college, and I was back home for the summer. And I loved doing baseball and softball. I would still love to do it. My schedule now just doesn't allow for that time commitment in the summer. But anyway, I started in the news business after I graduated college, and it's unpredictable. So there's just no way to plan ahead. I did fill in a couple of baseball and softball games for a couple of years, but it was very sporadic. And honestly, it was just my uncle back home getting in a bind and having an umpire cancel the day of, and he'd call and say, "Hey, are you available?" And I was working early mornings, the morning show at that point in time, which was not super fun, getting up at 2 or 3 in the morning and going to work. But I was done at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so I could make a trip an hour or 2 away to a softball or baseball game. So I didn't do very much of it, and I really got to missing it. And I had never, I did do varsity baseball and softball, but I, had never done that level of basketball. And I worked in news for 12 years. I was at KCCI for a while, and then I was at the Des Moines Register for a while. And when I took my current position at Iowa PBS 11 years ago, one of the first things I told myself was, okay, now this job, this schedule is more conducive to officiating. And so I really wanted to figure out how to make it happen. So I had no clue. I didn't know any officials, didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know how to get started. Somehow I ended up at a camp. It was a team camp at Drake that Joel Oswald was running. And, I had kind of studied the rule book and mechanics, and obviously was an observer of sorts in my own accord for many, many years. So I guess
Hi, Ben.
Somehow.
See, we should never joke about anybody's technical difficulties because then, of course, my computer completely crashes. So sorry.
Man.
Technology, you gotta love it.
The podcast was probably better while I was gone anyway. So keep
it
going,
really
Travis.
Anyway, I was at this camp. I guess I did fairly well, or like you guys were saying, they saw some sort of promise. I don't know exactly what it was exactly, but I talked to Joel a little bit. I was like, I don't know how to get started. Can I fill in? Do you have some extra games here and there? What do I do? And we had kind of decided, I'd probably just fill in here and there that first year. I didn't really know what was going to happen. A couple months goes by, and I got a call from him wondering if I might be interested in joining a crew because somebody retired at the last minute about a month before the season was going to start. And so there was an opening on a crew, so I jumped in. The complete opposite of what you guys were talking about earlier, where it's good to start at the lower levels and get your feet wet and get some experience.
Mm-hmm.
I walked out on the court, my very first varsity game. Thankfully, it was a 1A game, not the best basketball, which, the more I've learned over time, sometimes I think, the not great basketball is some of the more difficult to officiate.
No doubt.
But it was not good. Jumping in that, I wish I could go back and watch the video of that game because that had to be horrendous. And I
or
feel
just
bad
not do it.
It was not good. But I learned a lot and learned a lot quickly. And so I never worked any junior high or JV games initially to be able to make, mistakes and learn from other people who had done it and be exposed to some situations and different kinds of circumstances where you maybe don't expect certain things to happen. They happen, you learn from them, then you're prepared to handle those situations on a bigger stage. But people were patient enough with me, and I guess saw some potential to not leave me by the roadside, and as yesterday's news. And so here we are. I think this coming season will be season 9 for me. But I should have kept better track. I could be off by a year, but it's been fun, and I still learn a lot. And thankfully, I've been able to work alongside people like Jim, and I've got people on my crew now that I respect and learn from, and So it's been fun. I enjoy it a lot. There's always that point in the season where, you're in the grind and you're kind of ready for it to wind down, and it never fails. That last week comes and you put on the uniform and go to that last game, and it's kind of like, gosh, I wish we could extend the season another week or two. Or so anyway, that's kind of how I've come to here, and it works pretty well with my current job. I still do journalism. It's not daily deadline journalism. We don't have a newscast or anything at Iowa PBS. So most of what I'm working on is either pre-scheduled stuff that we know we're recording days or weeks in advance. And there's not as many last minute surprises as there are in the commercial news business. So it's allowed me to plan a full schedule, and for the most part, it works out pretty well. And I don't have to either short the officiating side of things and put other people in bad situations by skipping out at the last minute. And I'm able to make it work with work where I don't have to leave them in bad situations by me not being there. So
nice.
How many nights a week then are you working during the season?
I would say probably an average of 3 nights, sometimes 4.
Okay.
If there's a 5-day week at some point in the season, that's usually just because we've gotten to the point where there have been weather cancellations or something and makeups. But I don't work college, so I'm just working high school. So Tuesday, Friday, of course, usually a Monday or a Thursday or Saturday, sometimes 2 of them. So 3 to 4 nights a week on average.
So who are your normal partners right now?
I was just going to ask that, Jim.
Hey, good job.
Chris Thomas and Grant Mandranok.
Okay.
So yeah, they've been working together for a little while, and I jumped in with Chris a couple of years ago, and Grant had taken a little bit of break with kids in school, and so now he's back at it a little bit more regularly now, and so yeah, it's
Love
been
those
fun.
guys. Shout out to Chris and Grant.
Yeah, good guys.
Yes.
We have fun, as I know you guys do too. So that helps when you're working with people that you trust and respect, but you can also have fun doing it. And
yeah, that's a good point. Really good point.
Yeah, if you're not having fun doing it, I'm not sure why you're doing it, because the money's not. It's good, but it's not great. So if you're doing it for
I don't
money,
trust Jim, but I have fun.
Okay, so I had some questions that I have here for you, and I think you went through about the first 6 already. I didn't even have to ask him. This is a guy who obviously knows, how to talk about himself and so forth, and So, but what are some of your most memorable moments officiating, good or bad? Or maybe one of each.
Well, I tell you, there's a bad one that's fresh in my mind.
Was that working with Sam and I?
In the
me.
No, postseason last year, and had a dad in the stands who was not happy with us for a good chunk of the game, and you could tell early on. Sometimes there are fans, they're vocal enough that they're going to be a problem. But he was staying in his seat. He was yelling. It was fine. Tune it out. Late in the game, we were under a minute to go, and we had a shot go up right before the shot clock went off, split second. and it was the other team. And he thought that there was no way the shot got off in time, and that put him over the edge, set him off, and we come down the other end of the court. I'm lead, and I didn't even see it. I felt the impact on the floor, but he threw a full water bottle, chucked it from 3/4 of the way up in the stands. Threw a full water bottle in my direction. It probably missed me by a couple feet at most, and landed a few feet from me on the floor, and exploded, and water went everywhere.
So you have two cleanups. You have the water and the coach.
This was a dad,
or dad.
And
excuse me. Yes.
So I hadn't really seen it, but the guy who was in trail saw kind of the whole thing unfold. So obviously we stopped the game, and the dad then starts to come down out of the stands. So teams go to the bench. There was an officer there, so he came over to get in between, and the athletic director, of course, was running over, and this was the visiting team. But got him out of the gym, took a few minutes. Then we had to get the mops out and mop up the floor. And we had 30, 40 seconds left in the game. At this point, it was 7 or 8 points, I think. I can't remember exactly, but it kind of, unfortunately, was a bit anticlimactic from that point on. And it's postseason, so that's the end of the road for that team. And I feel bad in those situations for the son of this guy was on the floor and in the midst of that, and it seemed to me to be embarrassed by what was going on. The coach couldn't have been more cooperative and nice about it, and recognized that this person had been an issue in games in the past. So it was an unfortunate situation, and a learning experience for me, because I look back at the tape, and I kind of stood there on the end line for probably longer than I should have before moving to midcourt and getting away from the door and being potentially involved in a escalation of the situation that didn't need to be. But those.
Did you ever think about picking up the bottle of water and saying, "Thank you, sir, I was thirsty"?
How'd you know I needed that?
I did not. I don't know if that would have made the situation better or
probably would have poked the bear.
Yeah. But I know in talking with some other folks that this person had a history of not being a model fan, unfortunately. So,
okay, I have 2 follow-up questions to that then. Have you ever tossed a fan or a coach or anything like that?
I never have. No, I've worked games when one of my partners have, but I have not.
I can see that, knowing Travis's demeanor.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, I agree.
But
I didn't even get to call. I didn't even get a call a technical on anybody last year. That was
wow.
You got to be more sensitive.
It was a little disappointing, I have to say. I probably should have in a couple.
If you haven't heard, Sam is a little sensitive on the floor.
Yeah, I got called sensitive, and looking back, I probably was.
You were. Would you change anything about that situation? Would you do it differently? Would you have kicked him out earlier? I'm just talking through the situation a little bit.
There really hadn't been anything that I felt up to that point that really sent it over the edge in terms of tossing him. I mean, he hadn't threatened anything. He was vocal. He was complaining about calls, but he had not gone over the top and wasn't cussing or threatening directly myself or either of my partners. So yeah, I don't think there was anything we would have done with him before that, but it definitely does. When you think back, it makes you think about, was there something we could have or should have done that maybe would have mitigated things a little bit earlier and not gotten to that point.
So do you think, though, that probably could have been a situation that maybe athletic director or administration on site could have at least maybe went over to him and said, hey, you need to calm down a little bit? Or, do you think it was at that point before this happened that maybe that might have helped a little bit or not?
That might have helped. Like I said, they were the away team.
Right.
So, I don't know if the home team athletic director going over there and addressing him would have, that might have made him blow up sooner.
I feel like just listening to the story, this guy went from like 25 to 100.
Is he glitching?
I think he said 0 to 100 or something.
He said, this is what it sounded like. This is what it sounded like, Sam.
25%, and then he's just like, screw it, I'm throwing this water bottle. Like,
yeah,
it did prepare for that.
It did kind of just escalate really quickly, and like I said, it caught me off guard. I didn't know for sure I kind of felt the impact when the bottle hit the floor, but I didn't see it. And so after it all happened, I was kind of like, well, geez, what was that? And I look over and there's, water everywhere on the baseline. I thought, well, shit, that water bottle just flew by me and barely missed.
Sir, this is Aquafina. I prefer Dasani.
But I guess back to the, about whether the athletic director could have helped the situation. I guess afterward, what kind of disappointed me a little bit was after talking to people, that the fact that this guy had been a problem at games before, I kind of felt like, that it's like letting a bad habit keep going, and then it just kind of gets ingrained and, and it's hard to break. I think maybe if things had been addressed differently with this person earlier, that maybe we wouldn't have been in that situation, or maybe, and the district did address it with that person after the fact. So, I don't know.
That kind of leads into, I think, how many times have we've talked to an athletic director at halftime, whatever break, and said, hey, such and such in the crowd. And one of the comments we hear is, yeah, we've had problems with him all year. I mean, we've more than a handful of times. And I'm just like, if you've had problems with him all year, maybe it's time to, just have a little talk and say, this is not the way we expect people to act in our gym and so forth. But
except
I think that more of that's got to be done.
One time, Jim.
What's that? What'd you say?
That green that you threw out one time. You didn't even throw it out.
I didn't.
You didn't.
I didn't. I just told the athletic director I don't want to hear any more from him.
Well, you didn't.
He was gone.
You didn't because he was gone.
Yeah.
But to be fair, in Jim's defense, Jim was an a-hole as a coach, but as an athletic director, I think he's really good about that type of stuff. That's not going to happen at Melcher Dallas because you're not going to allow that to happen.
I agree.
And I think there needs to be more of that, whether it's principals, ADs, whoever's there in charge needs to have our back. And I don't think that happens enough.
Well, I think that Jim's so good at that because of his experience being an official.
It is. I mean, there's some things that, that I know as an official that it doesn't bother me that you say it, but there's other things when you go over the line. I can still remember, this has just been a couple years ago. I had a fan at Melcher over at Southeast Warren that was yelling play after play after play. And I finally went over and I said, hey, that's enough. And they looked at me and they said, well, don't you think that was a foul? And I said, it doesn't matter what you think or what I think. If the official called it a foul or didn't call it a foul, then that's what it is. But we can't continue to yell at them all night long. And it stopped. So, it's, you can easily do it in a manner that you're not being a jerk to that person. You just go up and say, hey, that's enough. We can't have that here. And that's all you got to do. You don't have to go up and act like you're Grandpa Jim to them and scold them that they're not doing the right thing. But, we don't want that stuff here at Melcher Dallas. We don't want to have that type of reputation. And maybe we do, but we try to get rid of it.
Jim, do you think that is more difficult at a smaller school where, everybody kind of knows everybody else a little more intimately perhaps than at a larger school? Does that make any difference, do you think?
I would agree. I would agree with that because, yeah, I mean, and not only have I been here for 38 years, but, I also graduated from Melcher Dallas. So, yeah, long time. Everybody knows me. And that, so, but I think that everybody knows me, but I think everybody knows kind of what I expect also. So, and I'm not saying we don't have unruly fans, because we do, just like anywhere else, but, we try to correct the situation and we want it to reflect on our students and our athletes that this is the type of people we want to be when we're competing.
I think what you said there is key, that people know what to expect. And I think that's important for whether it's coaches or athletic directors or administrators to let parents, let fans and players and coaches know what the expectations are for how you should behave and what's not going to be allowed. And, if people know that up front and it's clear that somebody's going to hold them accountable if they don't meet that standard, then they really don't have any anything to complain about in the end if they get a little bit sideways with things. But I think sometimes it's not, that expectation is not set with people. People think they can get away with whatever. There's not going to be any consequences, and so things go downhill from there.
Right. Well, we just talked about it. I just thought about this from not this last Friday before. We have homecoming, and we had a great crowd at Melcher Dallas. I mean, it was first time I've ever had to shut the gate off to where we park our cars on the practice field because we had so many people there, and we had. The officials know me very well that are there. And I always tell them, if you got any problems with anybody, please let me know so I can take care of it. So they said, hey, guy down here, could you take care of him? I just go down, former player of mine, and said, hey, so-and-so, that's enough. And he goes, I got it. I'm done. And then a couple days later, he sees me. He goes, hey, I appreciate you not just throwing me out of the game and embarrassing me in front of my family and that. He goes, it won't happen again. So,
nice.
It's I don't know. I guess for some people, it's easy to do that. For some people, they don't like confrontation and don't want to deal with it. And that's when it gets worse.
Yep. The Hall of Famer Scotty Giles always says, what you permit, you promote. So,
yeah.
One more thing here, Travis. I got to take a break here soon, but I wanted to ask you one more question before we go to break here. Do you feel like your career as a journalist and kind of the public face and the demeanor that you have has helped you as an official?
Yes.
Because like we said, we all think you're the calmest person we know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would say that I was about to say in good and bad ways. As a journalist, I've developed a pretty thick skin, and I'm not easily rattled. It takes a lot to shock me. I may be shocked, internally, but I don't show it. I can be pretty stoic in some crazy situations, and that's partly by training, and I think it's just part of my personality and my demeanor. So I think that's good in some circumstances, but pretty much every camp I've been to or evaluation I get, it's, your mechanics are great, your judgment is good, look like you're having a little more fun, will you? And don't look quite as much like a stick in the mud out there. So I think that is both good and bad depending on the situation and kind of what kind of presence you're trying to project. Yeah. So that's something that I'm trying to work on, is being a little more loose on the court. And
you need to be more like when you're hosting the Bill Riley talent show. Just
let it all go.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I love it. Hey, can you stick with us here? We got to take a quick break and recognize some sponsors, but we'll ask you some more questions here after we get back. So.
Making great tasting bourbon requires the perfect combination of ingredients, conditions, and time. The longer it rests, the better it tastes. Revelton Distillery's new single barrel bourbon is made from 80% corn, sourced 100% from Iowa farmers. And unlike mass-produced bourbons, each barrel of Revelton's single barrel bourbon is unique, proofed on when it tastes best. As they like to say, it'll be ready when it's ready. And to ensure the highest standards of quality and flavor, owners Rob and Christy Taylor oversee the production and bottling. Every single barrel. Iowa-born, Iowa-aged, Iowa-bottled. Try the new single barrel bourbon from Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com. In 2023, a crack Green Beret named Dan Douglas retired his military command and promptly escaped to a full-time career in real estate. Today, this man is wanted by home buyers and sellers who want to survive the process without spending a fortune. If you have a home to sell or want to buy one, maybe you can hire Dan Douglas at Green Beret Realty. You can find him at greenberetrealty.com. greenberetrealty.com.
And we're back, minus Sam.
Wonder where he's at.
It just got better and better.
Is he sitting down in the bathroom?
I bet he can hear us right now, too.
I hope so. There's Houdini. He's gone.
He had to go pour himself some Revelton.
That's right. That's right.
Turn it on,
hey!
Not you, Travis.
Travis, I enjoyed I haven't been to the fair much lately in the last few years, but as a kid growing up at my grandparents' house, we always watched the fair show, and I think it was maybe the last Sunday of the fair this year. I think they ran like a marathon. Like I watched 10 of them and I loved every second of it. And I watched you on there so much. I was like, man, we got to get Travis on here.
You're like Netflix and binging.
I loved it. I loved it. So
they do. They run all of them back to back on that final day of the fair. I tell you what, I love the fair. I also grew up watching the fair show on Iowa PBS every night, and I do love the fair. I am really, really ready for the fair to be done though every year when it gets to the end.
I would imagine that's a ton of your time and effort even prior to the fair to get ready for all of that.
It's all hands on deck for us. I mean, everybody top to bottom is involved. I mean, we kind of work on different teams, on different, like I'm on the public affairs team. So I handle mostly politics, but I also do sports, music. I have a good variety of things in my portfolio, if you will, but we have different teams of people that kind of work on different types of shows and programs. But when it comes to the fair, everybody is involved top to bottom because that's kind of a beast to put together. But it's like easily by far our most watched programming all year long. So
Sure.
lots of people jump in just for that.
How many months are you guys planning for that? And like, how long is your normal day there?
I mean, our team, I'm not on the producing team that actually plans the fair coverage. I just involved in executing it, but they're already planning for 2025. So it starts now with some initial planning. It really heats up in the spring, and then by early summer, they're already starting to shoot some pre-fair kind of features and things. So I jump in about a couple weeks before the fair. We get our assignments of what we're going to be doing, and then we reach out and contact people and plan when we're going to be where and who we're talking to and what we're doing. So yeah, it's kind of every year it's a little bit of a what am I going to get this year kind of thing, from contests to like I covered the high dive show this year and the Budweiser Clydesdales and new foods. I've been able to cover new foods the last few years, so that's kind of fun going and
I bet that's fun trying all
the new
those
stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
Some of them are a little bit of a head scratcher, and
what was the best?
Some of them are pretty good.
What was the best and the worst new food this year?
So the one that won best food voted on by the fairgoers was the bacon cheeseburger egg roll.
Heard about that.
Which I have to say was near the top of my list. So I went to the event a few weeks before the fair where we sampled, I think there were maybe about a dozen. The fair folks, there were probably 50, 60, 70 new foods. I can't remember the exact number. They narrow them down. It's mostly media folks and fair board and some other highfalutin people that come in. They have all the vendors there. We sample everything, and then we vote on what our top three are, and then they tally them up. And those are the three that then are presented as the top new foods, and fairgoers get to vote on their favorite. This year it was the bacon cheeseburger egg roll. There was a lobster roll corn dog, which I'm not a seafood person at all, so I sampled it, tasted fine, but I didn't put it in my top three. And then the third one was the smoked, I forget what they call it, the smoked Iowa roll or something like that. It was from What You Smokin' Barbecue up in Luther, which they had one of the finalists last year as well. And man, it was really good. It was a pork loin stuffed with all kinds of stuff, and then they sliced it. It almost looked like sushi, the way that they pulled it up and sliced it. It was pretty cool.
Smoking's great.
Burger egg roll won, and that was that probably would have been my pick for the top one. I also really liked, and I didn't think it was going to be good, but the AE party rolls.
Oh yeah.
Which was I loved AE party dip. I didn't know how that was going to work in a fried ball of stuff at the fair. It tasted kind of like if you like cheesy potato casserole.
Ooh,
it was kind of like that with a little hint of AE party dip in it. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Surprising.
So you avoided what you didn't like.
Well, the lobster roll was not my not my favorite, just because I'm not the other thing that I didn't love, I'm a stickler for not putting sweet stuff with meat. It's not my favorite. Even though I love pork chops, and for whatever reason everybody thinks they've got to put some sort of fruit with a pork chop, and I get from a chef standpoint that might be a good pairing. It's not for me. And so one of the new items was this massive cheeseburger. It was layered with stuff, and it had like jalapeno cheese sauce on it and everything. And it was sandwiched between like 2 funnel cakes as the bun.
Woof.
Just
Jim, you can't have it. You're
over the top.
Heart attack number 3.
You don't need to sample it. It wasn't great.
It doesn't really sound good.
No. But some people love that. It's like chicken and waffles to me that's not a good combination, but
I'm with you on that.
obviously
Brett.
some
It's
people like it.
You know, like Thanksgiving dinner, turkey and cranberry sauce, like both of them. Do not mix them.
Not together. Yeah.
Do not let them. No, don't let them touch.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah. I also don't like mango salsa. Like, who came up with mango salsa?
Yeah, it's kind
to
of.
me, that's not like salsa is salty and spicy and not. There's no fruit in salsa.
How do you feel about pineapple on pizza?
Oh God,
Love it.
don't even get me started. That's not a.
You know what? That's one thing I can do. That's
Yeah,
weird.
me too.
No. And see, there's some things where if you don't like something, you can pick it out or pick it off. Not with pineapple on pizza, because that pineapple juice is everywhere.
Yeah,
That's true.
it's in there.
So you can take the chunks of pineapple off. You still have pineapple pizza.
Yeah.
Not a good
I like pineapple. I'm not a fan of it on pizza. Doesn't belong. So,
Nope.
and the mango, don't get me started. Anyway, that's our hard-hitting podcast stuff right there.
Yeah. There we go. Bam.
Chime in. How do you prefer your food?
Oh boy.
You know, I can be totally content with, like the trays that they used to give you in school. It's got like the
nothing
compartment.
touches.
You keep everything separate.
Yeah.
Like that's the perfect plate for Thanksgiving dinner. Perfect.
Well, they're big too, so you can put a lot of stuff on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Separate them all. Load it up. Yeah.
All right, back to officiating a little bit here.
Jim got off track.
We kind of talked about this with Kristen last time. Do you have any suggestions on how to get officials in the game? We kind of been talking about how it's terrible to just jump right in. Well, you did it, I did it. And I had to go get yelled at by Jim when he was a coach, when I was new to it. We're kind of coming up with some new stuff here, and I think I like the direction that we're getting lots of ideas that I think we can hopefully maybe make a better impact to help people around Central Iowa.
I think there are a few different things, and it's probably nothing revolutionary or anything that anybody else hasn't already talked about. But I think first of all is information. Making sure that people know that there are opportunities out there. And if you are interested, here are people you can talk to. Here's a website you can go to for information on how to get started, what you need to do, what to expect, all that kind of stuff. Probably wouldn't hurt to have some sort of a informational video or something. I think getting younger people involved early. I played basketball through high school. I was awful. I didn't like playing basketball, but I liked the game. And so, for me, it was a good way to stay involved. Well, there are lots of kids that are playing basketball who understand the game, who aren't going on and playing in college, but could be. Not everybody's cut out to be an official, but I think getting some of those people involved early and right away as they head off into college, and where they can start working some lower level games and get a taste for it. I think if there were some opportunities where people could try it, I've always thrown. I don't know if this is a good idea or a really bad idea, but
Hear it. I'm ready for it.
But
Here we go.
I've always thought it would be fun, maybe fun, but also productive and beneficial to preseason get, whether it's internally a scrimmage or get two close proximity teams together for a scrimmage and have the parents officiate and rotate in and out.
Yes.
I love it.
Just because, I think that would help some from a fan perspective too, that it is way different experiencing a game and seeing the game from down, as you guys know, from, whether you're on the sideline or the baseline, than up in the middle of the stands. And I think that would be helpful from a fan standpoint, is just getting people on the court and letting them experience some game action and what it actually looks like. And they may understand a little bit more about how we see the game and how it's different when you're standing underneath the basket. And, for me, sometimes it's people that are twice my size coming at me. You see things a little bit differently than you do from up in the stands.
How angles are important.
Yeah, and
You're
just sort of understanding and then gaining a little different kind of respect. I've always thought that would be kind of a fun little experiment to do. But I think that could be helpful too. At whether we could do that at the high school level or college level, to get people involved and just get some, let them get a feel for it in a very low pressure situation where it's a scrimmage and there are no fans around to be yelling at people, and not that different from a camp situation, but
sure.
Yeah.
But just being able to actually do it, so whether like, hey, this is something that was kind of fun, or I kind of want to get involved with it.
That reminds me of something that Pete Peterson says. He's told me before, and I'm going to get it wrong, but it's something like, we are unbiased individuals unbiased individuals officiating for two biased fan bases, something like that. Like, and it's like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, I literally don't care who wins the game. Right. But these fan bases do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Casey brings up a good point. We need body cams of sorts.
Done. I got mine ordered.
I've also thought it would be fun if we did a little sort of like a football, if we could wear a microphone, and so when there's a complicated situation or play that happens, we just turn on the PA and we just explain what
That is a fantastic idea, but I think there's probably some officials out there that we don't want to have that microphone.
Yeah. There's sometimes they're like, well, I don't know what happened.
When we do the game at Melcher Dallas, we do have at least a lapel mic. Maybe we could do that during the scrimmage that we're going to do.
Let's mic up.
So we could.
No, ma'am, in the top row, that was not. That was not a half-court violation.
So we could video that, have the sound, and then do clips on a podcast after that, where we talk through those type of things. Like, this lady was terrible and she was wrong. I love it.
Guys, hear me out. Let's all get mic'd up, and let's just review the video and put it on here. Like, oh my gosh, second row striped shirt. That guy is an idiot.
We would have to have buy-in, I think, from the coaches of both teams or the athletic directors, right? But
yeah, I think so.
Travis, that's honestly, I love that idea of parents officiating, and I would love to sit there and scream at them while they're doing
Oh,
it.
it'd be awesome.
Exactly.
Be relentless.
Yeah, you got to be like, 3 seconds. 3 seconds.
Yes.
Over the back.
Yeah, over the back.
So Kevin Williamson, Earlham's boys coach, we've had him on here. He's invited me to kind of their preseason parent meeting to talk with the parents and open it up to questions. And you know how they are. Nobody wants to say anything. I maybe got 3 questions the whole time. I talked a little bit about rule changes and stuff like that. But one woman did ask me about over the back. And I tried to explain how that's not a thing. And it just blew her mind. Like she's like, yeah, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
So
just
anyway,
like reaching in.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to allow them to do that.
He was
tonight.
reaching in.
As long as they don't make contact, we're going to allow them to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's good.
How do you think steals are made, for God's sakes?
Right. Jim, what else do you have? Anything?
I think that's that was kind of the last one there, was to talk about what we need to do with officials, to try to increase our numbers of officials. So I'm out of questions that I have.
Travis, anything for us?
No, I wish you guys had a little more fun here, but
We'll try our best.
It's fun. I hope if anyone's listening in who is considering officiating, that they give it some serious consideration, because we obviously do need more people, and we need good people to stick around with it. I mean, we all know some people get started and given a variety of factors, whether they're just thrown into the wrong situation or it's bad experiences with fans or coaches, for whatever reason, they don't stick with it very long. And whatever we can do to get people the right training and get their feet grounded underneath them so that they have a good experience, and make the environment better for everybody, veterans included. It's all the better for everybody. So
Definitely.
Awesome.
Good stuff. Well, Travis, thanks for joining us. We appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll run into you down the road.
Yes.
Thanks for having me. I'm sure we'll see you somewhere along the way.
Thanks, Travis.
Appreciate
All right,
it,
take care. Good stuff. I think, he's such a good guy. And like we said, the calmest individual I've probably seen on the court.
Him and Will Dodson.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Pelzer's up there.
Yeah, just nothing seems to fluster him. It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah. Pelzer,
but I think
you can't ref angry. Watch me.
That's right. I've been doing it for 19 seasons. Why not?
Watch me. I'm sensitive.
Hold my beer.
But I think, we kind of come back to this every time. We don't know Travis super closely, but because we've refed with him and because we've kind of gone through the same things, I think we're friends from that standpoint. And when we run into each other, on the court or watching another game, we're always talking. So I think the reffing community is, a family, more or less.
Oh, yeah.
In Iowa. Maybe it's different other places, but I think in Iowa, it's a good family to kind of be a part of. So
I think it's just like we, talk about anything else, workplace environment, students in school, athletes. It's building relationships. If you can build relationships, it becomes a lot easier and a lot more fun to work with people.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, for sure.
And it's kind of amazing how often you do see the same people, Oh,
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yep. We've kind of gone long again. So do we want to wait again till next time to kind of get in the rule changes and stuff, Jim?
Yeah, you're killing me on it, but that's all right. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, that's good. I've got them set up right here. So, but anytime we're ready for it. Yep, I agree. Maybe the next one I don't know if we're having a guest next time or not, but we'll do what we can do and get our couple. Yeah, we got a couple rule changes to go over. So, and I think they'll take a little bit to talk about those. So we can put that off to next time.
Jim, I don't know if anybody's told you, but I think green's your color.
Is it? Does that look good? How do you like this part though?
Is that?
Right, well, there it is.
I figured it was an A's shirt.
Did you shed a tear?
Where do they play now?
They're going to play in West Sacramento for the next 3 years at their AA stadium, and then they're moving to Las Vegas.
Are you going?
I hope to go to the opening day game in Las Vegas if I can afford a ticket, because I'm sure it's not going to be cheap.
Did you get the home plate that they took out of Oakland?
I wish I would have. I mean, I do have a home plate at school in my room from the last game that we had on our old field over in Dallas. I took it out and kept it and that. So, but
did you see they were ripping out seats and stuff? I bet you can get something online somewhere. I bet.
And did you see it though as they're ripping those out of there? How rusty the bottom of them were.
Yes.
And the people wonder why that they were wanting to try to build a new stadium.
Yeah. They didn't even need tools. They just picked them up and took them.
They just ripped them out of there. Yeah, I did see that, but no. Yep, I got to support my team, but not a great year, but better than it was last year.
Sam, I think before we go, since we've been talking about your beer tonight, and I just heard you open another one. We ought to run back to Ragbri here real quick and show.
Oh yeah,
let's
talk about that. So let's. Here's 3 good-looking dudes.
That was fun.
That was fun. You want to talk about that a little, Sam?
Man, I could have been the 4th beard in 3 Beards Media.
Yeah.
4 Beards Media.
Look at that thing.
Yeah. So my beard growing season is not officiating season, so I was right in the middle of it. But
did you just shave that off for that wedding or something this past weekend?
I shaved it off before, but yeah.
Gotcha.
It was time to go. But yeah, so here's all of us at our Ragbri tent. This past summer, we collaborated with Back Pocket again, and we came up with this beer called the Hills Have Rides. So the ride from Atlantic to Winterset was the hilliest ride in Ragbri history. So we came up with this English Pale Ale. Or English Pub Ale, and got it canned and everything. And there's the 3 dorks enjoying one.
That was a fun time as they came into Winterset for the afternoon and evening and night.
It was,
crazy.
Help and serve, and the amount of people that I was really impressed how many people wanted, a good local brewed beer like yours. That was awesome to see for you. So.
Yeah, fun time. Absolutely.
That's my favorite sign.
That's the tent.
Well, you would believe because you were there, but there were so many people that took a picture of that.
Yeah, they wanted to be by it and take a picture of it. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Like $12 on Amazon, man. Like you can get one yourself.
That's awesome. Oh, that was a fun time for sure. So,
and also about the brewery. So tomorrow night, October 3rd, from 6 to 8 p.m., to promote the Legend beer. Again, the one and only George Trice.
Get that up there by the camera so they can see that. That's a sweet can, man. That's good looking.
That is neat. Very neat.
We got Jack and the I Will from his letter. And then just a little blurb there about Jack's story. But anyway, George Trice will be at the tap room in Winterset tomorrow night from 6 to 8, promoting Legend and also talking about the Trice Legacy Foundation and their continuing impact, which is what we're trying to raise money for. So if you're free tomorrow night, 6 to 8 p.m., Winterset, First Down Brewing, stop by, have a chance to meet George, and enjoy a Legend beer.
Awesome.
Cool. Hey, I got one thing too before we, we're here. So make sure you watch. I'm assuming it'll be on the Monday Minute this coming Monday. The Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union tomorrow morning is stopping by Melcher Dallas to view and our new facilities, and and to put that on the Monday Minute. And then they're actually going down to our good old buddy. They're going down to the Southern Iowa Tour, and they're going to Mount Air.
Oh, nice.
Scotty Giles has some new stuff to show him. So
Cool.
So I'm assuming Ben and Taylor will be down tomorrow morning at 9:00 at Melcher. They're going to do some stuff for the Monday Minute, show off our new facility. So get a chance to look at that on Monday morning. They'll have that out. That'd be great.
That's awesome. That's a good shout out, Jim. I love that.
Yeah, I bet that's awesome, Jim, to have that.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I just talked to the superintendent today. We were talking about just the attitude of our kids has changed this year. I mean, it really has. You know, we were in half of the building we are in now. You know, because we also built 4 classrooms in that other building, plus the gym, plus the weight room, and it almost feels like sometimes there's nobody there. I mean, I know we're a small school, but before it was like you're running into people all over the place because we've got them jam-packed everywhere. And our kids have the support that they've given our football team and our volleyball team has just been unmatched. I think they're just, they're thrilled to have what they've got. I told people, I'd love to show people our weight room, and that when they've seen our gym, I said, hey, you got to come see the weight room too. And I said, we're not bragging. We are fortunate to have what we have, and we're happy about it. So it's been a great start of the year so far for us.
You know, it wouldn't be the worst idea ever if the Monday Minute mentioned the Three Blind Refs podcast, you know, to help promote officiating.
That is true. We could get that. Well, I'll have to talk to Ben about that tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, how many years did you go without a gym there?
3 years. We went 3 whole basketball seasons and volleyball seasons, and actually, I should say another half of the season because it happened during the middle of a basketball season in 2021. So 2022, 23. Oh, wait. Maybe it was 2.5 for basketball, 3 for everything else. But anyway, it was 3 years basically where the kids did not have a gym to have PE in. Now it's just crazy because seeing the area that they have to have PE and the things they're doing. Yeah, it was a tough 3 years, and I felt bad for our kids that, graduated, didn't graduate with a gym, and now we have a new chapter and turn the page, and here we go.
51 days till we're in that gym.
51 days. That's awesome. We've every coach that comes in for volleyball has gave us great compliments. One even told us, she goes, "This doesn't even look like a high school gym. It reminds me of a small college gym. It has a lot of character to it. It really does. So I can't wait for you guys to come and see it and to experience it."
Awesome.
51 days. I'll have to tell Missy.
51 days. I'll let her know, Sam.
Start a countdown.
I literally told her the other day. She's like, "When do you start officiating?" I'm like, "Ben will send you the schedule."
So I owe a lot of people some things. I think Joel and Casey have been bothering me about getting stuff to them, and I haven't. I've been bad. So I did talk with a coach yesterday, nailed down a couple things. So we'll get that finalized here very soon.
Sounds good.
One last thing. As always, merch on the website if you're looking for some stuff. And we're hoping to get maybe some gear out to our guests here too. So you know what I forgot? You know what I keep forgetting?
I don't know.
The halftime horn.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's past halftime, but you can still do the horn.
I don't even know.
You can do the final horn. We could all say goodbye and then.
You know what? Maybe it's not in here. Maybe that's why.
Oh.
Maybe it got taken out.
Well, then the basket counts. It's good. You got it off.
You know,
See everybody in 2 weeks.
All right. Good to see you. Hopefully we'll have a really solid guest here the next time too. I've got
awesome.
So
You bet.
all right.
Signing off. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.